You've been connected to the DedSecCast. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to episode 8 of the DedSecCast. My name is Brett, aka UbiCentral, and joining me today is my outstanding, impressive, breathtaking co-host, Aftermath.
Hey, Bray, what's up, man?
Not much. I'm doing good. I recently was on the Kill Connor Club, actually, and that was a ton of fun. The podcast is already up on YouTube, so if you do want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, it was a very interesting experience, to say the least, and that's all I really had to say about it, honestly.
Well, since we last recorded, a bit unrelated to any of this stuff, but I got my driver's license, so I can now drive literally everywhere. So that's cool.
Have you done anything yet, like on the streets?
What does that mean?
Have you taken the car and have you drove on the streets?
Yeah, man, tons. I went
By
down
yourself?
to McDonald's. Yeah, went down to McDonald's yesterday and got a milkshake, which was great. And then I went down and got some donuts from Dunkin' Donuts the day before. And then yesterday, I raced my brother, and he was longboarding down this one hill, and I was racing him, and he was much slower than me in the car. But yeah.
I would hope so. So it looks like Ubisoft didn't watch last week's episode, unfortunately, because we did not receive any news about Watch Dogs 2, but E3 is in like 20 days, so that's something to look forward to. But yeah, Ubisoft, come on, you should have watched last week's episode. We want news. All right, whatever. I'm done. Okay. All right, but since we don't have any news, I did want to talk about the Watch Dogs movie instead. And yes, there is a Watch Dogs movie actually happening. We don't know too much about it, except for the fact that it is actually happening.
Wait. When you said, wait, in the doc, when you sent me that we was going to talk about the movie, you weren't talking about the AC movie.
No.
There's a Watch Dogs movie.
Yes, see, that people don't even know that. Yes, there is apparently a Watch Dogs movie happening.
Why? What? Who?
I don't, Ubisoft has, they announced like 5 movies. I think Ghost Recon is having one. Rabbids, AC, Watch Dogs. Word. Yeah. But we don't actually know that much about it. We know Rhett Reese and Paul Warnick, I think that's his name, will be writing the film. And I did find on the Watch Dogs wiki that the story will supposedly follow Aiden Pierce, but I couldn't find a source to actually back that up. But anyways, Aftermath, I did want to ask you, do you have high hopes for this movie that you just found out existed?
That I just found out about? No, I don't. What? I don't have any high hopes. I don't have any hopes. What? We're making a Watch Dogs movie. We've had one game. No, this is a terrible idea. I can understand for the AC movie, given it's like Ubisoft's biggest franchise. It's one of the largest franchises in the world, and it's got this established canon, and there's already multimedia stuff with the graphic novels and games on different platforms and all that stuff, and they already have movies for AC with short movies, and we have animated movies, and we have live action AC movies, so it kind of makes sense. Like, they've done Prince of Persia, which was kind of not a good idea, but AC kind of makes sense if they do it well, and Michael Fassbender's basically making it by himself. He's directing and editing and producing it, and he's the only person in the movie. There's no other actors in the movie. It's just Michael Fassbender in a room with a green screen. But a Watch Dogs movie sounds like a terrible idea unless it's going to come out 5 years down the road when we have 5 more games and a comic line and a toy line. What? This doesn't even make any sense. This is terrible. Yves Guillemot, what are you doing to me, baby? What are you doing to me?
To be fair, there isn't a release date for this movie yet, so it could be like 3 years, but no. It will probably be like 2 years after Watch Dogs 2, probably. And there is a Watch Dogs novel, so there's
a Watch Dogs novel!
What?
What did you just say?
There is a Watch Dogs novel.
What?
Dark Clouds.
What?
All right, never mind. For me, at least, right now, I don't have any high hopes for this, and I won't until we actually see footage of the movie. I think Ubisoft has a lot on their plate, especially with this movie, because it's about hacking. Besides The Matrix, there really isn't a lot of good hacking movies, so it'll be interesting to see if they can pull it off. Also, I will say this, if the Assassin's Creed movie is fantastic, my hopes will rise a bit for this movie. But again, I need to see footage before getting on the hype train.
Is the Watch Dogs a novel?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
There's another one. There's Dark Clouds, and then there's Watch Dogs: The DedSec Revenge. What is that?
I don't know. We'll talk about this after. All right. Also,
This should be like another podcast episode. It's 350 pages.
Okay.
That's like an actual novel length. What?
Last week's episode, by the way, I forgot to mention this. Everyone agreed with you basically about like everyone liked the digital trips more than
nice.
mini games. So yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. Thought I should quickly mention that. Also, you can skip around using timestamps in the description down below if you didn't know. Aftermath, I also wanted to ask you, if the Watch Dogs wiki isn't accurate, do you think it will be a completely new story, or will it use a character from the games?
This movie that I just heard about.
Yes.
I think that it will use new characters like all the other Ubisoft movies that they're trying to do nowadays. Like, barring Prince of Persia, because that was stupid. Nowadays, what they see they're doing, like, we'll use AC as a base model because it's the closest comparison that we have, but they're trying to expand the universe as much as possible with making a new character. And maybe there will be references to characters, but it will be a new character as the protagonist. So I don't know why the movie would focus on Aiden or whoever Watch Dogs 2 is about. I feel that it will be a new character, and maybe there'll be references and stuff like that. But maybe they don't want to go in that direction. Maybe Ubisoft will do something new with Watch Dogs. It's possible. If Watch Dogs 2's character is actually interesting, unlike Aiden.
Okay, now I usually would say a brand new story, but honestly, if the voice actor for Jordy Chen looks like Jordy Chen in real life, I'm all for that movie. You should know by now, Aftermath and I love Jordy, and I think I could die happy if that movie focused on him. Yeah, I just think it would be entertaining. It would be like an action hacking comedy film. So yeah, but if Jordy Chen's voice actor doesn't look like him, I say we should have a completely new story with some Easter eggs to the game, basically what like Assassin's Creed is doing right now. With that said, it is time for some fun Watch Dogs questions. Aftermath, are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. Who is the worst character in Watch Dogs? And you can pick anyone.
I'm going to say something that might be a little controversial. I'm going to say Aiden Pierce.
Okay. I'm not going to read the comments of this.
He is by far the least interesting character in all of Watch Dogs, in my opinion. All the other characters have some depth to them. For some reason, Aiden is kind of 2D, and he only really cares about his family, which is not exactly a unique trait among action heroes. It's possible that Ubisoft did this actually intentionally, because sometimes with heroes they make them 2D so that you can then put your own personality onto them, yet Aiden was very front and center in the story, so that doesn't really make any sense, given that, like, if I disagree with him, and he's just going to do it anyway because he's so motivated for this one sole reason. I feel that basically every other character from Watch Dogs I can think of was more interesting to me, and I wanted to see more of them than Aiden. Aiden wasn't necessarily bad, he just wasn't really that interesting, and I think that with some of the other characters they did, they made some really interesting characters, made an interesting world, but Aiden doesn't showcase that for me.
That's an interesting choice. You probably will get some hate for that, which...
Well, if I had read the episode plan before just now, then I probably would have come up with something better. But that was the truth, is what I believe, so there you go. What about you, Brett?
Well, I picked someone that I think everyone can agree on me with, and I think you might as well after hearing what I have to say. So my pick is Yolanda Mendez. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce her name. She's a babysitter, I don't even know, whatever. She's whatever, okay? I don't even know. I hate her. She is so annoying. Just leave me alone. I'm busy. I don't want you to call me and tell me Jackson ran away. That's your problem. And you're not even worried about it when you call. You're like, I would recommend calling the cops. And that's it. That's her reaction. And like later on in the game, she calls the cops on you, forcing Jackson and Nikki to leave Chicago. Oh God, I hate her so much. I would just shoot her in the head if the game allowed me to. I can't even talk about her anymore. I just hate her so much.
Interesting. But does the fact that she's a big old B meaning that she's a bad character, or just that she's a B?
Well, for me, that they're similar, okay? So for
fair
me,
enough, yeah.
I would say, yeah, she's the worst. She's annoying. Her character doesn't have anything that stands out about her except she just calls you on the phone. Oh, Jackson ran away. Oh, no. And like, oh, God. No, we'll talk about this in the next question. So, yeah, Aftermath.
Now, Brett, what do you think is the worst mission in Watch Dogs? There's a whole bunch of them. Some of them are better than others. We've talked about the best ones before. What's the worst one?
The worst mission in Watch Dogs ties back into my first answer, when Jackson runs away. To be fair, Yolanda, whatever her name is, did call earlier in the game, and she was worried about Jackson. But in that same exact call, you tell her that he might run off or something like that. And he does. You literally warned her that this kid tends to run away, and she's, I don't know, I forgot what her job is. She's like a psychologist. I don't know. What is that word? Psychologist? Is that right? Yeah, for kids. I don't know. But anyways, he still got away from her, and she was warned. And even after all of that, he went to some random location where him and his mom used to go, and then he locked himself in a room, and there was guards somehow all over that area just around him. How would they even know where he was? I don't know. I just don't like that mission, and mostly because of Yolanda. Aftermath, what about you?
It's kind of a tough question, because, the bad ones don't really stand out to me. But there was one bad aspect of the story which I really didn't like, and that was Iraq's final battle, the boss battle with Iraq. It was really just too difficult, and it was boring, and every single time you died, it was one of those ones where you respawn before his whole monologue, so you had to listen to his entire monologue again about how he's the best and stuff like that. And it was just frustrating, because it was difficult and also obnoxious because you have to start over each time. Another one that I didn't like very much was I can't remember what it was called or where it is, but like when you first start tracking down Damien, and then when you get to the location, then he escapes and Aiden's on all the TVs and stuff, and you need to try and get out of the city while everyone's looking for you, and you need to like hide from every single person on the streets and stuff. That wasn't very fun, and it's a nice aspect for the open world when that comes on, but in the story, in that one mission, it wasn't all that interesting to me.
That Iraq mission was actually a really good choice. I forgot about that, and I did play through that a while ago, and I did keep dying, and then his monologue kept popping up, so yeah, I did forget about that, but it was really frustrating, and I just kept throwing grenades at him, and eventually he died.
I actually like the rest of that mission with the infiltration stuff, but like it's just that ending boss battle is just so annoying.
Aftermath, what is your favorite song on the radio?
All right, I have a lot of thoughts on this because a lot of people really did not like Watch Dogs' radio, and I think a big part
sucks.
of it. I think that a big part of that is actually because people think of it as a radio. It's actually, to me at least, it's not a radio. It's actually Aiden's iPod that he puts on, because it's just a set song list that you can choose from and play a playlist. You don't put on a radio station and switch to radio stations with commentary in between them by radio hosts like you would in GTA. But everyone came into that thinking of GTA, and really it's actually just a song selection which you can pick from playlists. You can set up playlists, or you can choose from genres. But I really like songs. Vampire Weekend's Diane Young was a good one that I listened to quite a bit. Weezer, The Good Life, Chicago, Wake Up Sunshine. JC Brooks and the Uptown Sound, Awake was another one I listened to quite a bit. I actually liked a lot of stuff. Okay. There's one that stands out. When you're first getting to know T-Bone, and you have to defend his place / blow it up, and Jesus Built My Hot Rod plays, and it's like this crazy metal song. I love that so much. And then you have it unlocked on your iPhone. So yeah, that was good.
That's actually interesting that you brought up the radio thing, because I never actually thought of it like that, and it does make sense. But for me, I still don't like a lot of the songs. But it is interesting that like I did go into it always assuming it was like a radio, but it is in a way like his playlist. So for me personally, Aiden has awful taste in music in that case.
He has a whole bunch of different genres. You don't like any of the genres that are on there?
Yes, I just no.
You know, I'm looking at the wiki page and it's folk, electronica, hip hop, blues, house, punk rock, pop, soul, jazz, and metal. You don't like any of those?
All right, so I like 2 songs, Day and Night. I'm surprised you didn't mention that. That's a good song.
Wait, let me find that.
Like Day and Night.
Oh god, I love that song. Man, there's just too many good songs in Watch Dogs. I'm telling you.
And then my all-time favorite is Rise Against. Savior. Rise Against is just like my favorite band. So if you haven't listened to their music, you should. That's all I got to really say about them. But yeah, I didn't really like any of the songs besides those. Trying to think. Confidential Liar was pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good one too. Yeah, yep.
All right, Aftermath. You like all of them. I like
not
3.
all of them, but I do like many of them. That was one of the highlights of Watch Dogs for me. Was walking around the city with some of the music on, and I hadn't really listened to any of them before Watch Dogs, really. So it was actually a pretty unique song list. Although I would have liked, as you said, I would have liked for there to be a bit more selection, because I think that they could have, Ubisoft with their endless amounts of money could have licensed a few more songs than that, with Rockstar easily beating them out with the radio systems of GTA.
They should have just taken Just Dance songs, like put it in Watch Dogs. I know they can't really do that, but still.
That could have been a cool Easter egg, actually.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, who do you agree with, me or Aftermath? Do you think the soundtrack, or well, not the soundtrack, but Aiden's playlist is not very good? You would be agreeing with me. Or do you think it has a lot of good songs in it, like Aftermath does, which, again, you would be wrong, like last week.
Oh, man, we should talk about the soundtrack sometime. I love that Watch Dogs soundtrack.
Yes. Okay, soundtrack, yes, I agree with that completely. It's one of the best soundtracks ever.
Yeah, we should go in more in depth sometime.
All right, you can make the topics for next week's episode then.
All right.
All right, it's a deal. Thank you all so much for watching episode 8 of the DedSecCast. Aftermath, do you have anything else to say?
See you next week, everybody. Love you.
All right, I love you.
Great.
Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you all later.